relative position of 2 points with respect to a line. Okay, relative position of 2 points with respect to a given line. Okay, now let me explain what is there in store for you in this particular subtopic. So let us say I have a line with me whose equation is known to us. So let's say this is your general form of this equation, and I have been specified 2 points P and let's say Q. Okay, and I know the coordinates of these 2 points. Okay, without plotting the line or without sketching the line and these 2 points, how would one come to know whether the 2 points are on the same side of the line, just like in this case, they are on the same side of the line, or they are on opposite side of the line? So let me again draw another situation. So let me call this as first case. So let's say you have ax plus by plus c equal to 0. And let's say you have p, which is x1, y1, q, which is x2, y2. So how would you know whether they are on the opposite sides of the given line? What will you do? What will you do to know whether the points P and Q, whether they are on the same side as shown in case 1, or whether they are on the opposite sides as shown to you in case 2? How would you figure that out without sketching it? Now, many of you would be thinking, so why at all we need to know any theory for that, because we can always sketch it during the exam time. See, there are some questions where you will not know the points themselves. Okay, we'll take up those questions in some time. So Hariharan has an idea. We can substitute in the equation and see whether they are positive or negative. Okay, so let's say both of them gave you positive. Then what conclusion you draw, Hariharan? Same side. Both of them gave you negative, then? Okay. Both of them gave you opposite sign? Absolutely. Awesome. Good. So Hariharan has cracked this problem. Okay, now let me explain to the Janta what we actually conversed between ourselves. See, Hariharan told that if you put x1, y1 in this line, the left side of the line, not equal to 0. So in the left side of this line, let's say if I substitute x1, y1, okay. So basically I'll get 2 numbers like this. Okay. So what he said, if you put x1, y1 in place of x and y, okay, on this side only, on this expression, not the equation, on the expression, you will get some number. Okay. Similarly, if you put x2, y2 in place of x and y, you will get another number. So what he's saying, if these 2 numbers are of the same sign, then it implies that P and Q are on the same side of the line. Okay. Same sign means they could both be positive or they could both be negative. Let's say the first one gives you 3, the second one gives you 10. 3 and 10 both are positive numbers. That means P and Q are on the same side of the line. Okay. They may both be negative also. For example, one gives you -5, other gives you -7. Okay. And if both of them give you opposite signs, let's say one is positive and the other is negative, then it implies P and Q are on the opposite sides. Okay. Now, why? That is the $1 million question. Why? Why does it work? Why does it work like that? Absolutely, Madhav. That's what we are going to discuss in this theory. Okay. Why does this work? Now, all of you, please pay attention. Can I say that if I connect P and Q, okay, and extend it forward, in the situation number 1, you can see that the line will externally divide the join of P and Q. Now, many people ask, sir, what if P and Q are parallel? What if the join of P and Q is parallel to the given line? Even in that case, it is a case of an external division where the lambda value would come out to be a very big negative number. Okay. So in any of the situation, in case one, it will always be a case of external division of the line segment joining P and Q by that given line. Whereas in case 2, when you join P and Q, right, then the line would be internally dividing the join of P and Q. Are you getting my point? So if I claim this to be lambda is to 1, here my lambda would be positive. And if I claim this to be lambda is to 1, then here my lambda would be negative because it's a case of external division. So from this lambda value, I can come to know whether the given points are on the same side or they are on the opposite side. How? Let us see that. So irrespective of whether the line is internally dividing the join of P and Q or externally dividing the join of P and Q, can I say the R coordinates will always be, correct me if I'm wrong, R coordinates will always be lambda x2 plus x1 by lambda plus 1, comma lambda y2 plus y1 by lambda plus 1. Now remember, this lambda would be negative for external division, it will be positive for internal division. So automatically it will be positive, negative. I don't have to put an external negative sign next to it. Okay. Now this R will satisfy the given line ax plus by plus c equal to 0, right? Because R is on the line. So when I put this in place of x and y in this line, what will I get? This plus c equal to 0, correct? Let us multiply with lambda plus 1 throughout. So I'll get a times lambda x2 plus x1, b times lambda y2 plus y1, and c times lambda plus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Take your lambda terms together. So it will give you this. Okay. So basically I'm trying to reach to what Hariharan had given me as a method to figure out. So I'm trying to justify his rule that he has stated. Okay. So lambda comes out to be negative ax1, by1 plus 1 by ax2 plus by2. Why am I writing 1 over here? It has to be c. Sorry. Yeah, it has to be c. Okay, now all of you please pay attention. From here the analysis will begin. Okay, so I think everybody has copied till this extent. So from here I will start giving my analysis. And I'll try to justify what Hariharan said is basically absolutely correct. I will justify it from here. Now, if it is a case of 1 where the points are on same side, okay, what happened to my writing? Same side, yeah. If it is the case where P and Q are on the same side, then in this case, remember my dear, lambda would be negative, correct? If lambda is negative, then my dear, I'm trying to say that this guy is negative. Correct? Yes or no? That means I'm trying to say that this guy is positive. Correct? Now, if ratio of two quantities is positive, then those two quantities must be of the same sign. That means ax1 by1 plus c and ax2 by2 plus c must be of same sign. Must be of same sign. Okay. So same sign means same side. Are you getting my point? So what he said, what Hariharan said was absolutely correct. Correct. In case number 2, you would realize that if P and Q are on opposite sides, then remember lambda would be positive. Lambda would be positive means negative ax1 plus by1 plus c by ax2 plus by2 plus c. This would be positive, correct? If you multiply with a negative sign, you will end up getting ax1 by1 plus c by ax2 plus by2 plus c as less than 0. So when ratio of two quantities is negative, what does it imply? What does this imply? It implies that ax1 by1 plus c and ax2 by2 plus c must be of opposite sign. Must be of opposite sign. Okay, and that is what he said. So if P and Q are on the opposite sides, then these two will be of opposite signs. Are you getting my point? So here is a small mnemonic which I can cite. Same sign implies same side. Okay, opposite sign implies opposite side. So you can, sing it like a rhyme. Okay, same sign, same side. Opposite sign, opposite side. Okay, sorry, side, not sign. Okay, so this will be like a straight line rhyme for you, right? Same sign, same side. Opposite sign, opposite side. Okay, simple as that. Understood? Let's take a small example to understand this. Very simple example, and then we'll take a complicated one. So this is the core principle. The core principle here was the section formula. Okay, that is why those concepts were your prerequisites. That's why we did it in the beginning of the session. So please note it down. Let me know if you want me to drag the screen anywhere so that you can copy it. Done? Any questions, any concerns, any doubts, please feel free to highlight. Okay, since nobody has a question, let's take a small question to begin with.
Sir, I'm not able to send messages to you.
Why? Oh, I had dropped off the call, no, in between. So it would be saying, I'm not in the call. Does it say like that?
Yes,
Yes,
also
sir.
it does
What do I do?
say the same thing.
One second, Charan. I'll just ping you in case you receive my ping. You can reply back. Can you see my hi? Can you?
Sir, Shreyas, not Charan.
Huh?
Shreyas, sir, not Charan.
Yeah, Shreyas. Oh, sorry. Shreyas S, right?
Shreyas K.
Oh, Shreyas K.
So for me also, sir, Vaibhav.
Shreyas K. Shreyas K. Did you get my hi? Vaibhav.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I could see.
So Vaibhav also.
Vaibhav. Okay, just a second, Vaibhav. Vaibhav, you got my hi?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. You can reply back. Okay. Okay, it happens when somebody drops off the call. You will find that it shows the message that the given person is not there in the call. Okay. A very small question we'll take on this concept. Let's say I give you a line, some hypothetical line. Let's say 2x minus 3y plus 6 equal to 0. Okay, and I specify 2 points. Okay, let's say P point and Q point. P point has coordinate 1, 3. Okay. I hope this is not lying on it. Okay, fine. If it lies on it, it will not give you a signed number. It will give you a 0 straight away. And Q point is, let's say, 0, 5. Okay. Are these 2 points on the same side of this line, or they are on the opposite side of this line? Tell me within 30 seconds, not 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Oh, Pranav also has this issue. Okay, one second, Pranav. I'll ping you.
Sir, I still can't send you messages. Should I leave and join?
Yeah, you can do that because others' messages I am getting. Okay, Vaibhav's message I got, Aditya's message I got. Pranav, can you ping me on to the this thing, uh, to the chat box? Because I may not be seeing my phone every time. Okay, so let's discuss. So 2x minus 3y plus 6, you need to substitute 1 comma 3 into this. So when you do that, you end up getting 2 minus 9 plus 6, which is a negative number. Okay, and when you substitute 0 comma 5, 0 comma 5, of course it is going to give you a negative number, minus 15 plus 6, which is again negative. Both are negative means they are of the same sign. Okay, doesn't matter whether it is negative or both positive, they should be the same sign in order to lie on the same side. So this means they lie on the same side of the given line. Okay, now this concept looks very simple when you look at it from this perspective, when there is a given line and there are two given points, but this is not how the questions are going to be framed for you in the competitive exam. So what type of questions will you get? Let me give you the question. Let's say this is my question. Okay, read this question. Question says, for what values of t does the point t comma t plus 1 this is not a Lucas question. Okay, so for what value of t does the point t comma t plus 1 lies inside the triangle whose vertices are given to you as follows? Okay, so here question is slightly tricky. It is not directly based on whatever we had done, but yes, it implies those concepts. So you have 0 comma 3. Let me just sketch it. So a is 0 comma 3, b is, let's say, negative 2 comma 0, and let's say c is somewhere 6 comma 1. Yeah, now I can see your message, Shreyas. Yeah. Now these are the vertices of a triangle. Okay, so these are the vertices of a triangle. Question is, for what value of t does a point like t comma t plus 1? Okay, remember what values of t. So multiple, you may get a range of value of t. So there is a point, let's say I call it as p point. Okay, t comma t plus 1. For what values of t will this point p lie inside this triangle? Inside this triangle. How would you solve this question? What is the algorithm first of all? See, in order to solve any question, we first need to get to the algorithm. What is the core principle? What is the methodology that I will adopt to solve the question? Formula comes later on in life. Formula is, see, if you want to get a program running, you should first make an algorithm for it. Syntax will come later on. Yeah. Anybody can justify? Anybody can share with me what method you will use? Hariharan says they should lie on the same side of BC as A, same side at 6. Absolutely. Absolutely, Aditya. Very good. So what Aditya and Hariharan are suggesting me, they're saying that if P has to lie within the triangle, then number one, P and A must lie on same side of BC. Correct me if it is otherwise. And remember, I'm using the word and. P and B should lie on the same side of AC. And the third scenario, P and C should lie on same side of AB. If these three conditions are met simultaneously, they must be true simultaneously. then do you agree that P must lie within the triangle? Yes or no? Okay. Now let's say somebody says, okay, let's say 1 is true. So P is here, A is here, or let's say P is here. Okay. Then what will happen if P is here? Then you would realize that if it is outside the triangle and if you stretch it, then P and B would lie on opposite side of AC. Correct. So if you meet one condition and do not meet the other, you'll automatically come to know that it is lying beyond the triangle. Okay. So when these three conditions are simultaneously met, then the point P must be within the triangle. Yes, Hariharan, how else will you do it? So unfortunately, okay, you need to do a bit of hard work over here. You have to find AB, BC, CA equation. Okay, so please confirm with me once you have got it so that I can give you a go ahead. So get me the equation of AB, get me the equation of BC, and get me the equation of AC. Come on, 2-point form, yeah? You can do it easily, 2-point form. Sir, I hate this, finding the equations. It takes so much time to simplify. So once you found out your AB, BC, and AC, put it on the chat so that I can confirm, I can give you a go ahead. Yeah, Pranav, what is the equation of AB? Do you mind typing it on the screen? Okay, AB equation you should be getting as 3x minus 2y plus 6 equal to 0. Are you getting this? If anybody is not getting this, okay, stop. You have done some mistake. Don't proceed further, else you will be working on wrong data. Okay. BC equation, you should have got this. X minus 8y plus 2 equal to 0. BC equation. Got it? Everybody? Hello, Sharon. How are you? Yeah, BC equation is fine. Everybody? Thumbs up. Say something, yeah? Yes, no, trying. Okay. I think you're still working it out. Yes, Aditya got it. So AC equation, is it x plus 3y minus 9 equal to 0? Adrija, that was which equation? I think, huh? AB. No. AB, the sign is flipped, I think. Just check. AB 0, 3 satisfies it, minus 2, 0 satisfies it. Check. Yeah, Charan, I'm getting your messages. Okay. So AB, BC, CA, done. That is fine, Pranav. 2x, 2y minus 3x minus 6 equal to 0, that is fine. Not an issue. Okay. Anyways. So let's now implement the first condition that P and A lies on the same side of BC. Correct. Now, what is the sign that you get when you put A into this equation of BC? So in the equation of BC, in this equation, when you put A 0, 3, what do you get? 0, 3 will give you a negative value. That means putting T there should also give you a negative value, because then only they will lie on the same side. So this is the condition that I get from the first one. So the first one is done. This will be the condition that you will be getting. Correct? So if I'm not mistaken, this will give you minus 70 minus 6 is less than 0, right? That means minus 6 is less than 70. That means T is greater than minus 6 by 7. Okay. So let's keep this as our one of the conditions. We will need it little later on. Correct? No? Any problem, any kasta in solving? Do let me know. Okay. No kasta. Next is P and B should lie on the same side of AC. Okay, so let's pick up B and AC equation. So B is this point and AC equation is this guy. So when I put -2 and 0, I again get a negative answer. Yes. That means putting T and T plus 1 will also give me a negative answer. Correct? Because they have to lie on the same side. Correct? So this is my second condition. So let me see what does it give to me. So it gives me 4T minus 6 is less than 0. That means T should be less than 3/2. Okay. This is my second condition. Getting my point? Is it making sense to you? Or it's going tangentially? Please stop me if you are not making sense out of it. Okay. Third condition is P and C should lie on the same side of AB. So let us put C in AB equation. So C is 6, 1. If I put in AB equation, I'll get a positive answer for sure. Okay, you don't have to exactly know the value. You just need to know whether positive is coming or negative is coming. So even putting T in place of X and Y, T and T plus 1 in place of X and Y respectively, I should get a positive answer. Correct? So if I'm not mistaken, this will give me T plus 4 is positive. That means T should be greater than -4. T should be greater than -4. Correct? Now, let us see their overlap. Let us see their overlap. For overlap, I will make a number line. Okay, -4 is the leftmost number, -6/7, then 3/2. The first condition says I want to be greater than -6/7. Second condition says I want to be less than 3/2. Fourth condition says I want to be again greater than -4. Okay, where do you see the overlap? I see the overlap in this zone. Okay, so this zone is my answer. So your T should lie between -6/7 to 3/2. That's your answer. Is that understood? Make sense? Okay, clear? So this is how that concept which you thought otherwise was very trivial, easy to work out, could actually lead to such complicated questions also. Good enough? Any questions, any concerns here? Okay, so let me take up one more concept before we take a break.